Hey T Squad, it's me Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea All Shade Reasonable Doubt Season 3 Episode 5 review. So on this week's episode, we see Ozzie getting dressed for court, but he's not getting dressed alone. Monica is there helping him, which shows us the audience that they are fully back in it. They're back on the roller coaster ride, and it's quite weird and sickening. In court, Jax does her opening statement professing Ozzie's innocence. And Jax does an amazing job at doing this. Like, she is giving the prosecution a run for their money. After court, they go back to Ozzie's house, and it's Jax and Daniel there with Ozzie, and I believe Kristen is there in this scene. And Jax asks, we need something to prove that you were at home that night. Like, you're still adamant that you weren't with anybody. He was like, no, I was here. I was by myself. She was like, well, if you were watching TV or anything, we could be able to get into your log to see if you were streaming anything that night. So Daniel goes to check on that. And so Kristen, I think, gets up and goes with him. So it leaves Jax and Ozzie by themselves in the living room. And Jax tells Ozzie that she knows that it's Monica that groomed him. And asks again if she was with him that night. He says that he was alone. And he asks that she not tell his parents about this because that's like the last thing he needs right now. But as we've seen throughout this case, Ozzie continues to lie after lie after lie. So you don't really understand or even know what is the truth and what isn't the truth. So after that, Daniel is with Kristen, and he sees somebody continuously calling her under the name No. And he asks her about it. And she basically negates the conversation and begins to seduce him by kissing him and says it's a guy she no longer talks to. So she's using the power of schmexual persuasion to direct Daniel elsewhere, which goes to show me that there's more to this situation with her and Mr. F No don't answer his phone calls, and that she's hiding something as well. Kristen's hands aren't clean in this. She's hiding something right along with Ozzie. So Jax confronts her mama, who is out taking a walk with her little girlfriends, bragging about how good Jax is doing on this case and all of this stuff. And Jax pull up on her and asks to talk to her and tells her that I don't want you telling Eddie my business, because Lewis told her that he confronted Eddie. So Jax was like, you've been enjoying this pillow talking or whatever it is y'all doing, but since you pillow talking so much, did you tell him what Paul did to me? And of course, the mama on mute, because she don't want to admit that, while you was out drinking and drugging and doing whatever you was doing, I wasn't a good mama neither. Like, you want to tell everything else, but you ain't telling where you messed up regarding me as well. I also still think that something might be going on between the mama and Eddie. And so, of course, her mother gets defensive because she can't ever accept being wrong about anything. And she says that Jax loves to blame her for everything wrong in her life. But her mess that she got going on right now is all her. That ain't got nothing to do with her mama. And she says Lewis didn't go talk to Eddie about taking it slow with the kids either, if that's what he lied to you and said. And so Jax looking like, what you talking about, Willis? Because she doesn't know that her husband actually went to her daddy to ask him or tell him to step off and to leave them alone. Period. So everybody just lying. Everybody lying. Everybody got ulterior motives. But Jack's mama gets on my nerves. Pauletta Washington plays the hell out of that character because, baby, she irks my soul. So Kristen is at Ozzie's house chilling in the middle of the day, and she gets a phone call from F No, and she sends it to voicemail. She's not answering. So then there's a knock at the door. She goes to the door, and it's none other than Mr. F No Alex. So Alex is her ex. Now we have confirmation. So she like, oh my God, this nigga is her. Like, oh my God. So she let him in the house because he says that he needs to talk about Wendy. So of course they got her antennas up. So he says that reporters are messing up his business, aka schmug dealing, because, paparazzi is heavy, with anybody that has anything to do with Ozzie or has known him. So he tells Kristen that he need $100K to skip town, even though he's already been given $10K, right? Now, I don't know if this $10K was given to him to be quiet about dealing Ozzie schmugs, or was he given $10K to keep his mouth shut about what happened that night? I'm believing it's both, to be honest with you. So she was like, I'm not giving you nothing. And she goes on to call him a failed actor. And you could tell they kind of got at him because it's obvious that he's jealous of Ozzie and that his career never took off the way Ozzie's did. So he threatens to give the prosecution a video of something that happened that night. So, of course, they got her shook. So she like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So Lewis asks Daniel to use one of his trackers so he can see what Eddie is up to, because he is suspecting that Eddie has relapsed again, even though he has really no evidence of this outside of following him and seeing him walk into a apartment with some dude, right? And I'm like, this is going to blow up in your face, Lewis. This is so going to blow up in your face because he's not getting high again. He's not getting high again, and you're going to look like a complete idiot. A complete idiot, and it's going to make Jax look at you sideways. Yep. So Daniel was kind of like, I don't know if I want to get involved with this as my boss, but here, I'll give you one of my little homemade ones. So back in court, the argument between Ozzie and Wendy is shown to the jury. Now, this is what's been all over the news and stuff like that. And one of Ozzie's exes takes the stand and says that one time when they were arguing, he grabbed her face. But when Jax goes up to argue her case against the ex-girlfriend, Jax brings out the fact that during this altercation that they allegedly had, that Ozzie had a restraining order on old girl. So that really tainted her credibility. I was like, come on, Jax. Come on, Jax. Even though I feel like we're defending a criminal, because I feel like Ozzie did it. I really do. I feel like Ozzie did it, or like I said, he knows who did it, something. So Autumn tells Jax that she should talk to her dad about his addiction to help her better understand Ozzie, because they're, out kicking it, having drinks, girl time, or whatever. And Sally and Chanel join them at the table, and Autumn asks Sally how the kids are adjusting with her separation from Chris. And so Sally lies and was like, it's going good. I hope that it doesn't get to that. But that they're talking regularly. Chanel, however, peeps game that she's not telling the truth because it's her cousin, but she don't say nothing right then and there. So after dinner, it's just Jax and Sally waiting on their cars, and Jax apologized to Sally, but suggests to her that she get off this roller coaster because it's hard to date your own husband. I can only imagine. And says, but no matter what, I got your back. She accepts her apology and also apologizes to Jax for calling her the number one hater. Which was funny. But I love that they got it together real quick, and it showed just real true friendship, how you can cut low, but you can always come back from it when you really know your friend's heart and you really want the best for them. So Jax visits her dad at his motel room. He didn't, of course, expect her to come, so it was kind of, messy a little bit. So he was kind of, shamed that he even leaving in the motel, and then he was living the way that he was. But he was really excited to see her. So she goes on to ask him how his addiction started, and he says it was basically for me just trying to be cool. Back in that time, everybody was doing it. Every musician, agent, manager, promoter, executive, everybody was doing it. And he didn't want to look uncool, which is sad. It really honestly is. Because right now, sidebar, I'm listening to Lionel Richie's Audible, and I'm at the part where he's still with the Commodores, and he talked about how they dibbled and dabbled with schmugs and stuff like that. But he learned very quickly that if you want to be successful, you can't do both. You simply cannot. So he stopped it real quick and real early, which was very smart of him. So Jax asked, who supplied it to him. And he was like, managers, agents. And she was like, agents? So that got her wheels to turning, wondering if Monica was also supplying Ozzie with schmugs as well. So her daddy says, they use it to control their artists. Enablers are more interested in you broken than whole. And that could possibly play into this sick dynamic that Monica and Ozzie has, because she knows that when he's down and out and broken, she is more susceptible to having this illicit relationship with him. So he asks that she not let his actions in the past define him, and she gives him a hug, and they're really trying to work on their relationship. I feel like the daddy is coming to her sincerely this time. I'm still side-eyeing him because he could be in for the long game with something. But I do feel like maybe he's really wants to work things out this time. Meanwhile, Lewis is outside putting the tracker on Eddie's car when he sees Jax coming out of the motel. So he looking like, oh shit, like they getting closer than what I thought they were. Like, oh my God. And then plus he almost got caught, which lets you know you're doing too much and you need to get somewhere and sit down. Okay. Go to a barber and get your hair done. How about that? Because I hate his hair. I've hated his hair since season 1. So Alex goes to the prosecutor, who has apparently been trying to reach him this whole time, with T on Ozzie for the prosecution. So it's obvious that Kristen did not pay him off. So Jax calls out Nikki for taking over Wendy's business just 3 days after her passing while she's on the stand. Nikki is the character played by Cash Doll, which now makes her look bad because you love her so much. This was your homegirl, your best friend. You so worried about her disappearance, her being unalive, but you ain't hesitate to take over her business. Really, girl? That's what you was worried about? So that make her look bad. Like Jax is on it, okay? She is slinging them left and right. So Lewis is still following Eddie and takes pictures of him and this man going into this apartment building. I forgot, I said it in the wrong spot earlier. So now he really thinks that he got confirmation that he's back using schmugs. Watch is going to be something totally different, and it's going to make him look like a complete idiot. Complete idiot. So Jax confronts Monica in a parking garage about sleeping with Ozzie and accuses her of unaliving Wendy. Monica calls Jax out for not being pressed to work with Ozzie initially, but when it came time for him to get charged with murder, she was all over it. So she was like, "Why you trying to judge me? We all using him. Let's be honest." Let's be honest. And I mean, really, truly, honestly, she wasn't lying about Jax, because Jax didn't really care about creating that NDA or whatever that he needed initially. She didn't become invested until it was something high stakes that would make it worth her while, to be honest with you. So she kind of clocked Jax there, but Jax was like, you need to stay away from him, point blank, and the period. Now, I can't remember, did Monica say she didn't do it? I can't remember if she did or didn't. But Lewis meets up with Daniel again and tells Daniel that he thinks that Eddie is back using and asks him for help regarding this. And I feel like it's totally inappropriate for Daniel to be getting involved in his boss's business. Totally inappropriate. And if I was Jax when I find out, I feel some type of way because you're crossing the line, okay? And I would check Lewis because how dare you go to my employee about our family issues? Like, have you lost your ever loving mind? What if I went up to your job and was asking your boss to help me regarding our relationship and our family? Like, come on now. Like, no. So next thing we know, we see Chanel go over to Sally's husband's Chris' little apartment and confront him about playing with her emotions. Because obviously this is something that he's been doing for quite some time now. And he was like, you know how important my house meant to me. He was like, I was the first person in our family, in my family, to own a house. And, she, put our house up and put us in jeopardy. And it's hard for me to just forgive that. I worked hard for that, which is very understandable. But at the same time, you do need to get her off this seesaw. Either you going to try to work it out or you're not. So Chanel tells him to walk away if he don't want her. So Jax receives the augmented witness list and learns that Alex is not only being called to the stand, but that he was with Ozzie that night. And here's another blow for Jax, because it's like, just when she thinking that everything is straight, that she's on the straight and narrow, that she got everything solid, everything is down packed, here go another blow to her face and another surprise in this case that is coming from Ozzie not telling her the full truth. Like, Jax is better than me because, baby, let me tell you something. When I went over their house, I would have cussed him out, okay? So Jax and Bill go over there to confront him, and he says that Alex went MIA after that night and that he passed out that night after they got high together. So Jax tells him that Alex is claiming he took him to the cabin to see Wendy. And I don't think he objected to that. I don't think he said, no, that didn't happen. I don't think that he said that. But regardless, this is another thing that you keep it from me. So me as your lawyer, I would be starting to think, are you guilty, nigga? Because you keep on leaving stuff out. Now you've been adamant this whole time you was by yourself. You was at the crib. And now we find out that no, you weren't by yourself. And then now we find out that he took you to the cabin. Girl, where is the glove, OJ? Because, like, what is going on? So we find out in court that Alex played Ozzie's older brother on the show and says that him and Ozzie were really close. He used to go over his house, spend a night or whatever. His family took him in, treated him like their own and everything. But he says that Ozzie pushed him to the side at some point for his more famous friends. And then the prosecution shows a toll receipt from that night where he allegedly took Ozzie to the cabin. So Alex says on the stand that he took Ozzie to the cabin. Ozzie went inside. He was arguing with Wendy. He got out the car and was looking in through one of the windows and saw Ozzie yelling at Wendy. He said he went back to his car because he was like, he didn't want no piece of that. And when he got back in the car, he heard pow pows. So he left. Right? So then that would leave us to wonder, then how did Ozzie get back home? Who came and got him? So when asked was there was anybody else inside the house, he says no. And Ozzie quickly grabs the notepad and writes to Jax, he's effing lying. And Jax responds, I know. But see, my thing with him is he lying about what? He lying about the fact that he took you to the cabin, or is he lying about the fact that there was somebody else there? They didn't really make that clear, and Jack saying, I know. Because I would be looking at him like, what the fuck you mean he lying? Lying about what, nigga? Huh? Your big lip ass is getting on my goddamn nerves. So Jax cross-examines and asks Alex, is there any proof that Ozzie was actually in that car that night outside of this toll receipt? He was like, no, there's no video proof. There's no camera footage or anything. And she asks, outside of acting, what do you do for a living? And he was like, I'm a CEO of my own business. And Jax was like, oh, you are? And so she pulls out his rap sheet where he's been arrested several times for drug dealing, right? And Daniel, meanwhile, is in the courtroom audience, and he writes down on his notepad, Alex Hill equals F no. So he has put two and two together based off Kristen's body language that's her ex-boyfriend. So now he really like, what is going on here? Because it's some shenanigans going on. So Jax gets Alex to admit on the stand that Ozzie was so high that night that he was in and out. And so if he was so high, according to what you're saying, how could he have unalived somebody if he was so high that he was in and out sleep? Make it make sense. So she'd have made his whole testimony look like crap. The prosecution go back to his office, honey, and he has a complete freak out. Okay, he spazzes out. He throwing stuff off his desk because he has been humiliated. He thought that he had the golden ticket with Alex, and Jax slaughtered him, right? And I love getting to see Jax in her element, because it's like this is the first time we really getting to see her be this titan that they have propped her up to be on this show. So Sally is getting out of the bed from sleeping with Chris, and she was like, I'm about to go or whatever. And he was kind of looking like, damn, like, you gonna smash and leave? Like, I feel kind of used. Like, wait a minute. So he was like, I want you to come to my mama house for Thanksgiving. And she was like, oh, like, wow, okay, great. And she was like, why? And he was like, because it's for the kids. And she looking like, really, nigga? Like, oh, okay. So she was like, do you want to be with me as my husband, as husband and wife, or are we just doing this for the kids? And Chris says it's for the kids. And at this point, she's finally fed up and hands him divorce papers. And I was like, come on, Miss Girl.
Shazam.
Yes, girl, choose yourself. Choose yourself. Even though what you did was wrong. But he held all the power in their relationship and he used it to his advantage. And like, girl, no, you got to know your self-worth. So I was so happy that Sally has gotten her life together. Daniel is, I think, at his crib or whatever. And Kristen comes over and he confronts her about the Alex situation and asks, did she know he was dealing schmugs to Ozzie? She says no. She was like, I'm just happy that now we basically are done with him now that he's been on the stand and got annihilated. And so Daniel was like, you real calm about this. And soon as he points that out, here she go trying to seduce him again. And it worked, but I also think that Daniel is smart enough to know when he's being played, right? So he just going along with it because, hey, he want to smash regardless. And it lets me know also that she's lying. I think that she did know that Alex was dealing to her brother. How could she not know? But she's covering up for Alex and for Ozzie. I just need to know how everything ties together. I really honestly do think that that night there was somebody else there at the crib. I think that Kristen and Monica went out there to go get him after whatever happened inside of that cabin. So they end up smashing, and while they smashing, Jax is calling his phone and he not answering. So she leave him a voice message telling him that she need him to look into Monica's alibi from that night because she thinks that she's the one that unalived Wendy. Could be, but I'm not that confident. So then we switch to Ozzie, who's calling Monica to discuss what Alex did on the stand. And she's in her backyard burning. It looked like it could have been a shirt, like a sweatshirt, or like a sheet or something. And he was like, what you doing? And she was like, protecting you. And she threw it in the fire, and then the episode went off. So with her saying protecting you is giving me that she's burning whatever evidence that night attaches him to unaliving Wendy. I don't think that she did it. I think it was Ozzie. I don't know shit. I don't even know. But they doing a damn good job because I could not figure it out for the life of me who killed this girl. Everybody is a suspect. I know as a writer, you always try to make it the person that people would least think about, but they're hiding in plain sight. So it's like, I want to think that it's Ozzie, but then again, it's too easy. I low key think it could be Kristen. Monica is too obvious of a choice. I think that it could be Kristen. And then they haven't been focusing on the mama lately, which is the hiding in plain sight. So it could be the mama as well. Or the daddy. Because remember, he confronted her about something that his mama told him that she had been lying to him about. Right? We still don't know what that secret is. It's giving me she slept with somebody else. Maybe she smashed his daddy. I don't know. But whatever that mama told him played a part, obviously, into what happened that night. So I'm still not Xing out the parents. What y'all think? Y'all let me know down below in the comment section. But this was another great episode. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this week's episode. What are your theories? Let me know down below in the comment section, you guys. If you're not following me on Patreon, T Squad, please do so. The link is down below in the description box. Right now on my Patreon, we're finishing up Baddies Africa. We're watching Jocelyn's Cabaret. We're also watching Zeus' new love competition show, Love Cabin. We're also watching The Real Housewives of London season 1. And we're watching season 1 of Breaking Bad. Yes. So we got a lot of content over there on my Patreon. It's only $11 a month. Yes. So join my Patreon and make sure you all are shopping on my Amazon storefront. A lot of the clothes and stuff that you see me rocking, shoes, boots, jewelry, or whatever, is under my Amazon storefront. So make sure you guys are checking out the stuff that I load up, because I load up stuff practically every day. I'm going to do an Amazon storefront video for you guys soon. So yeah, click on my Amazon storefront. That link is also in the description box. Y'all make sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so you know my videos drop. I love you, T Squad, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.